Imagine a dark, stone cellar beneath an old synagogue. The air is thick with incense, and the only light comes from a flickering candle flame dancing over the pages of a dusty book. There, in silence and deep concentration, a rabbi draws symbols onto a clay figure molded from earth and river mud. The golem, not a man, not a beast, but something in between. A mystical being shaped from clay and brought to life by a sacred word, sealed within Kabbalistic formulas. According to legend, the golem had one purpose: to protect the Jewish community from persecution, attack, and injustice. He was a guardian, a tool of defense, and sometimes a weapon. But every power has its price. The golem knew no mercy. He felt no pain. And if something went wrong, he could become a danger even to those he was meant to protect. The creation of a golem was not a physical act, but a spiritual ritual, a combination of Kabbalistic knowledge, prayers, and the divine name. First, the rabbi shaped a body from clay, usually taken from the banks of a river, as water and earth symbolized life and matter. The body had to resemble a human arms, legs, a head, but without a soul. Then came the ritual of animation. The key element was the word emet, the Hebrew word for truth written on the golem's forehead or placed on a parchment in its mouth. This sacred word gave it existence. But that was not all. The rabbi would speak ancient incantations, often invoking the hidden names of God, names that could not be used lightly. It was believed that only someone spiritually pure and deeply versed in Kabbalah could successfully perform the ritual. Sometimes, the golem was born over 7 days, the time it took to shape and sanctify it. When it opened its eyes, it did not speak, but awaited command. It was a force, powerful, silent, obedient, until it wasn't. The legend of the Golem of Prague. In the heart of 16th century Prague, in the Josvav district, where narrow alleys were cloaked in darkness and cobblestones glimmered with the flicker of oil lamps, lived one of the most renowned Kabbalists of all time, Rabbi Judah Loew ben Bezalel, known as the Maharal. It was he, according to legend, who shaped the golem from clay drawn from the banks of the Vltava River. It was not an act of defiance against God, but a desperate attempt at protection. At the time, the Jewish community was persecuted, falsely accused of ritual murders, and terrorized. The Maharal wanted to create a defender who would stand between his people and hatred. And so the golem was born. A silent colossus, soulless but loyal. He patrolled the streets of the ghetto, frightened off attackers, and brought safety. Until something began to change. With each passing night, he became less obedient, more unpredictable. When his power began to spiral out of control, the rabbi knew he had to stop him. He removed the letter Aleph from the golem's forehead, changing emet, truth, into met, death. The golem fell. Legend has it that his body still rests in the attic of the old new synagogue in Prague, dust-covered, motionless. But it is said that if the time of greatest danger comes, the golem may be awakened once more. Golem in pop culture. Although its roots lie in Jewish legends and mysticism, the golem has long since crossed the boundaries of folklore, becoming a regular figure in pop culture. From literature and film, through comics, to video games, echoes of this clay creature can be found everywhere. In The Witcher 3, golems serve as guardians of ancient places of power, silent, powerful, and immovable without a fight. In Pathfinder and other role-playing games, they play a similar role, ruthless sentinels, often summoned by mages as living weapons. In Marvel and DC Comics, reinterpretations of the golem appear as heroes, anti-heroes, or symbols of power beyond the human world, sometimes possessing their own consciousness, but their past always carrying a shadow of tragedy. They also appear in anime and manga, often as giants made of earth, metal, or stone embodiments of strength devoid of emotion. Creators use this figure to explore themes of responsibility, control, and the limits of interference with life. In literature, from classic science fiction to contemporary thrillers, the golem becomes a metaphor for artificial intelligence, automation, or the loneliness of the creator. What makes the golem so universal is its primal drama. It was created to protect, but it always threatened to slip out of control. And it is this motif, the balance between power and losing control, that brings the golem back in pop culture time and again, in new forms and worlds. What do you think about the golem? Is it just an old legend, or maybe a warning that never loses its relevance? Should humans have the right to create life? And if so, who is responsible when that life gets out of control? Do you know other versions of the golem myth? Maybe it appeared in your favorite game, book, or TV show. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned. In upcoming videos, we'll explore even darker corners of legends and myths. See you next time.